Okay. Greetings, David Hansel, Dancing Bear here. This is not the video I've been trying to record. That one, it's something, a commentary on Ayn Rand and her philosophy, her influence on the New Age movement, and her negative influence. I've tried, I think, about 10 or 11 times to record that, and each time it's something. This last one, used to be YouTube would just cut you off while you're recording if you went beyond a certain time. Well, now they just let you go on recording and then tell you after you recorded it that it's too long and they won't publish it. So I just wasted a half hour recording, finally getting a good take on it. But in the past, YouTube was messing me up, and there were problems with it, and it kept stopping in the middle of it and telling me I had to start over. And then yesterday, I had a good take, and then I messed it up. And then this today. Oh boy. So anyway, I'm doing something else that I meant to do anyway, because this is going to be shorter. Actually, I've found out how you can do a longer video on YouTube, but I don't have time to do it now, unfortunately. So I've got things to do, places to go, people to see. But anyway, so this is going to be a little bit shorter. This is on a issue that's been going on for some time. I need to look up an article here. Excuse me just a second. This is about a term that's used quite a bit in the circles of Wicca and witchcraft. Actually, I take that back. It's not used at all. It is, however, if you happen to be watching a show on television or watching a movie. And I'm not finding what I wanted to use in here right off the bat. I know I kept the article, but I can't seem to find it right now. So I'm probably just not going to use it. I had it saved on here somewhere, and I just cannot find it right now. I should have pulled that up before doing the video, so I apologize for that. But okay, what I'm talking about is, anyone know what a male witch is called? Everyone's going to say, yeah, a warlock, right? Wrong answer. And actually, those of you who know the craft already know that's not the right answer. It's used in films. It's used in television. It is not used by members, by witches or members of the Wiccan community. I should also iterate that I'm not using the term Wiccan as some people interpret it. Some people think Wicca is Gardnerianism. And there are others who believe it's a much broader term. I'm one of those. Gardner did not coin the term. He simply popularized the use of it. He's decided to use it, and other people have caught on. And saying that he has any right to it, and it should only be used in referring to Gardnerianism is ridiculous. That'd be like the Catholics saying that they're the only ones that can use the term Christian. Come on. So it is a wide term. It does not refer to all witchcraft. There are many witches who do not consider themselves Wiccan. It does refer to a specific, there's no dogma in Wicca, but it does refer to some specific, a few specific principles. And anyway, what I'm getting at, though, is the term warlock is not used to describe a male witch. The term used to describe a male witch is witch. Some do use the term wizard. J.K. Rowling did do a little bit of a research when she, called Hogwarts a school for, witchcraft and wizardry. I don't use the term myself. I don't like to think of myself as a wizard. I think it's used too much in secular society, in commonplace, as like Mr. Wizard. You know what I'm talking about, right? Or they're a whiz at this or they're a whiz at that. So the thing is, I did do some research on this. Oh, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself here. The term comes from an old word. I believe it was Warlock. Since I couldn't find my article, I wanted to bring up. But basically, it meant oathbreaker. How that got, assigned to male witches, I don't know exactly. I speculate that it may have had to do with the fact that during the burning times, in the medieval times, some of the witches were burned at the stake. You got to remember what the Catholic Church was like at that time. They considered women to be inherently sinful, men to be seduced by sin a lot. So all a man had to do really is say, "It's not my fault. That woman bewitched me," and automatically, he just had to say, save some, marries or whatever, and then they go after the witch. It may not even been someone who actually practiced witchcraft. As long as the guy said she did it, that's all they needed to hear. With that in mind, some of the guys who actually were practicing witchcraft at that time, if they were caught, once again, all they had to do was say, well, they may do it. And then they would go ahead and turn in the rest of their coven, and all hell would break loose, or turn in a witch or whatever. So they were oath breakers. They were traitors. That's why the term is not used today. It's not a good term, not a good thing to call someone a warlock. And yet, I've actually noticed on certain websites and so forth, a lot of young men calling themselves warlocks now. They're newbies, obviously, and when they find out, discover it's not appropriate, they do away with it. But with everyone that keeps doing it, and the fact that it's used in films and television so much, I think it might be here a little bit longer than Peloton. It might become an acceptable term someday. And there's another reason, too. When researching the term, I found out there's actually another possible root of the word. It's not officially recognized, but then, what is official recognition? There are Native American tribes that were never officially recognized by the government. That doesn't mean they don't exist or never existed. The government of Turkey still refuses to officially recognize the genocide that occurred in Armenia. That doesn't mean it never happened. So, this other term, and since I couldn't find the article, I can't remember exactly what the Nordic term was. It was in Nordic or Saxon. And just a little bit of footnote here. I mentioned Wicca. The term Wicca does come from Saxon. It was actually pronounced Wicca. And as you might have already guessed, it was the root word of the English word witch. So anyway, it's a Saxon or Nordic term, Norse term, for an article, a weapon that was enchanted, had some magical properties or something of that nature. Excalibur would be a good example. The swords we see in the sword Sting, that Frodo had in Lord of the Rings. Now Bilbo wields in The Hobbit, an elven sword like that, which had special properties because it would glow when there were orcs about. Well, things like that, weapons like that, would have been called whatever that term was, a Warlock or something of that nature. And the term warlock, some believe, or theorizing, may have actually come from that. So it doesn't refer to a person so much as an object, at least in origin. But we could see where someone who was actually using those tools might be considered a warlock, or actually, to expand a little bit further, a person who used magic in warfare. Not warfare so much, but a warrior who used magic. That's what I'm trying to get to. In modern terms, we think of warriors, a lot of us are thinking of peaceful warrior, as Dan Millman said, or the scholar warrior, as Damon Dow says in his book. And of course, that type of philosophy is expounded on in Karakuhulin's book, Wiccan Warrior. That's the type of person we're talking about, a Wiccan warrior, or to be a little bit broader, a warrior witch. Someone who follows a warrior path and uses magic in the process. So with that in mind, that concept, the term warlock becomes an acceptable term. However, it should be noted that it still has nothing to do with gender. A woman could be a warlock as easily as a man could be a warlock. So, still genderless. But, as I noted, quite possibly an acceptable term in this day and age. I also want to, I've pointed this out in my warrior videos before, or I think one or two that I've done, and it's touched on a great deal in the warrior class that I've put together. I've yet to teach, but it's a warrior archetype class. As Karakuhulin puts it, warriors and soldiers are not the same. Soldiers march, warriors dance. Soldiers act, warriors choose. It's not that one is better than the other. It's just that they're two different things, apples and oranges. The term warrior is actually much broader. A person can be a warrior and go into the military and fight as a soldier. A person can go in the military and enlist as a soldier, but that does not necessarily make them a warrior. It has to do with philosophies and mental states and attitudes and so forth that I'm not going to get into on this video. There are warriors who believe, cause is just and decide to serve as a soldier. And of course, when I say soldier, I'm using that term a little bit generically too. I'm talking about an army soldier, a marine, a sailor in the Navy, an airman in the Air Force, etc., etc. A Coast Guardsman, a medic, anyone who's in military service. So it's not the same thing. Being in the military doesn't make you a warrior; it makes you a soldier. Warriors, as I said, is a much broader term. It can refer to protesters on the streets are warriors, and policemen can be seen as warriors. Detectives can be seen as warriors. Lawyers can be seen as warriors. Doctors can be seen as warriors. It really has to do with a person's attitude and mental attitude and philosophy. But like I said, going back to the issue here, the term warlock could very well become a commonplace term. A little bit different from what people think it means, people at large. It does not mean a male witch, never has meant a male witch, and if we adopt this new meaning, it still won't mean a male witch. But consider the fact that warlock may be an acceptable term in this day and age. That's it. Hopefully I'll get my other video done tomorrow. That one is much more important in my view. But thank you for listening, and have a good day.